Hey everyone, how are you doing? So finally I made it to the live stream. Yeah, last week I needed to skip our weekly live stream unfortunately, but today, yeah, so today we have another one. I just can say for the next live stream next week I'm on vacation, so it's like last week for me at work. Next week I'm completely off, so there won't be no video next week. There won't be no live stream, but it's just for 1 week. So then I'm back, and yeah, hopefully with some more content. Hey, good to see everybody. Hey, Ralph. Yeah, this is good that you could make it. Awesome. Christoph. Hey, Roy Mayo. Hey, Ama. Guy. Penguin. Hello from Montreal, Canada. Hey, greetings to Canada. What's the weather in Canada, by the way? I was wondering. So it probably is really cold right now. I've never been to Canada, but I think like at some day I would love to get there. I don't know. It probably will never happen, but yeah. If I would be willing to fly, which yeah, I'm slowly getting there. So it would be definitely one of the targets where I would really love to stay for like a week or two and just visit. Cold and rainy in Seattle. Oh my god. -5 degrees Celsius, little snow. Oh, that's not too bad. I mean, it's crazy here in Germany. We had like 2 weeks ago. It probably was like -10 degrees at night, and now it's +10. It's crazy. Canada is a big country. Montreal is very cold, -30. Oh my gosh, okay. And Vancouver is only 5 degrees. Oh, that's crazy. Well, you have those crazy jumps across the country. Well, I didn't know that, yeah. I always thought like Canada is just cold, but apparently that's not true. I mean, it's like definitely not, yeah, as good as like in Germany. It's kind of like but where I'm living, it's like shit. In Germany, like when you're living in the south of Germany, it's really nice. I would say you got a lot of sunny days and temperatures are good. The air is good and so on. And if you're coming to like the Ruhrpott, which is where I'm living, it's just crap. The weather is shit. The air is just full of pollution, and it's like the whole industry in Germany, right? It's like, yeah. But anyway, I don't want to complain because I'm in my studio right now, so I hear it's pretty comfortable. So it's all good. Medic, hey, much love from Slovenia. Keep up the good work. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I definitely will do. At least that's the plan. And yeah, I also have planned something for today because I wanted to talk about some news. Why I'm still wearing headphones, I have no idea. Yeah. Some of you might have seen the video that I've created about the Zima cube. And I also said like this one that I got, the Zima cube was sent with Zima OS as pre-installed operating system. So their own, like from Icewhale initially started with the Zima OS as like some sort of application based on a Linux distro for self-hosting and stuff. And no, since they started to build their own hardware products, they thought it would be a great idea to create their own Linux distro, which is tweaked and for their hardware lineup, especially with some like features for storage and those kind of things. So we'll have a look at this today. And yeah, because I thought it would be a great idea to plan something for every live stream. I also have an idea when I come back from vacation, so what we do next. But yeah, no sun in Bavaria. What are you talking about? Really? I mean, yeah, honestly, I used to live there for a while, and it was yeah, of course, not always sunny, right? But definitely much more than where I'm currently living at. So it definitely like Bavaria, so like south of Germany, and like the North is definitely a totally different thing, honestly. Because I can tell, because I grew up here in the Northwest, and then I moved over to the south of Germany and lived there for like 5 years. No, even more, right? 8 years, almost 8 years. And then I moved back to the Ruhrpott, as you call it in Germany. And I can definitely tell the differences, right? So I know exactly what type of people there are living, and I can tell you it's almost like a different, like, it's not like a different country, but almost, yeah. It's really different. It's like also the people living in south of Germany are very different than people living up here. I can definitely tell, because I used to live in both worlds, and there are like, let me put it this way: there are pros and cons for each of those sides. But if you ask me, I'm probably I was a bit happier in the south of Germany, honestly. Maybe yet someday I move back. Who knows? We will see. Okay, so cool. Let's go back to topic and let's talk a bit about Zima OS, Casa OS. What the hell is that? And yeah, before you ask, I haven't really installed this on my Zima Cube, because my Zima Cube is currently in it's powered off, and it's currently not doing anything because I couldn't find a real use case for my Homelab right now. I have a use case in mind for the future, but I still would love to see Zima OS and Icewhale and Casa OS, whatever they're gonna plan, to actually go a bit to a more polished, more mature state as they are currently in. Let me put it this way. I'm not saying like their products aren't good or they are like early access, but it's a lot of the stuff still feels like very early stage. And yeah, even though the Zima Cube as it is today still seems to be nice and works great, but software-wise, I think they have a long way to go. And we will explore some of the details why this is the case today. And yeah, just gonna read some of the questions here. Since we're talking about weather, Peter is saying like he's from Brazil and he has summers like 30 plus degrees. Oh man, yeah, that's a bit too much for me then, right? Yeah, cool. Yeah, it's always interesting and to see that people are watching the videos from all over the world. So this is really amazing. I get so many inputs from people, and so it's really interesting. Can you make a tutorial video for ZimaOS on Proxmox? Good question. I probably won't do it because there is, I mean, well, I can point you to a resource that actually explains this very well. And I've thought a lot about, should I make a separate video about it? But I think like, I don't know. It will take me like, I don't know, maybe a week or so to record it and do everything. But I'm not sure if it has like real value for people right now, because it's, if you want to do it for testing, well, that's fine. But I don't want to make a video about it right now, because I feel like we need to explore it and we need to give it a little more time so that it grows to like a stage where I can definitely tell, okay, so this is actually usable and this is stable for me. And then I'm considering a video, right? But before, I want to be very careful with, like, I'm not really one of the YouTubers that just jumps on every trend and every train that sees like passing by, because I feel like, well, I just need so much time. I always try to invest so much time in making my videos and make them really, really accurate and really interesting. And I just need that more time to review it, and it's not at a stage where I feel like, well, there would be a video worth making a video about it, but it's a perfect video for a live stream. So that's why we do it today, right? Because I thought it would be great to show it to you, but instead of making it a video, let's just explore it together. And how I installed this system here is here's a really great guide, I think. Yeah, I used this guide. And you see, there's already somebody who made a YouTube video, so it's really not why should I make just another one that is exactly the same? So that's Like, I think I will step on this game and make a much cooler video when it's a stable product, and I'm showing it to you. Then that's gonna be my strategy to this. But if you go to this, and yeah, I put you the link in the chat so you can actually look it up. And when you're there, well, you can watch the video, and I haven't really watched it before. Maybe this is new. What is this guy? Big Bear Tech video. Yeah, so definitely go and watch this video. Subscribe to this dude, because he made a pretty good guide on how to install it. And that's what I used. So basically, you just need to follow all of these steps here, and then you got it up and running, and you're gonna be fine. So it's actually not that complicated. So you can get it up and running pretty quickly. First time catching you on one of the streams. Hey, nice. Thanks for jumping in. Krimlon, hey, good to see you again. Are there any advantage of us having multiple Docker nodes? Well, let's keep Docker and containers aside for a while. Maybe we'll do it, discuss it in the next live stream. So yeah. So what I've done is I basically created a new VM, which is like the demo server 7. And this little guy here is running Zima OS. So when you follow this guide here from the Bear blog, Big Bear Tech World, sorry, this is what I've done to set it up, and I gave it just like some 2 CPU cores, 2 GB of memory. It's totally fine. And in the hardware section, so what I've done is, because we want to test the RAID, the new RAID system here, I added like 2 SATA drives for this VM. I played around with this before. So what you can do is, I first tried to add virtual hard drives using the VirtIO driver. So this didn't work. ZimaOS didn't detect them as new drives. So you definitely need to use a SATA. I suppose SCSI and IDE might also work, but I just thought SATA would be a better idea. So that's what I used. So we can play around with this a little and see what it got. And to be honest, don't expect too much at this stage, because as I said, ZimaOS is still an open beta program, and feel free to contribute to it, but they don't say it's stable. And honestly, when I see this, I think, yeah, this is great. I mean, like, people were asking for the RAID feature on ZimaOS for a pretty long time. As you can tell, like, RAID support, they even haven't added the checkmark here on their official README file in the GitHub repo, while they actually should, because they just recently make the announcement that they added it. So as you can see, this is like not accurate anymore. Like they started with some very, very basic features, something like App Store, storage management, whatever that means, like a very minimalistic version of, hey, you can add an additional drive and you can mount it and format it with a file system, something like ext4. But you have no high availability or redundant type of storage. You got some widgets here, which honestly, this would be worth adding as a separate feature for me. Actually, if I would be the PM, I would tell these guys, hey, widgets, that's not a feature. But anyway, files and sharing, yeah, okay, well, you can add files and share them. It's kind of like the definition of a NAS system. And yeah, you got remote access functionality, auto backup, which is even not green. So we will probably take a look at this and see what that means. Yeah, and as you can see, well, it's pretty important to add a feature that says GPT power chat with docs, whatever that is. Yeah, who knows? But yeah, this is like some of the core functionalities of ZimaOS. They started with very, very basic stuff. And mostly this is supported on their own hardware, but actually you can, of course, install this anywhere else. Yeah. And yeah, then you can take a look at this. They also have some documentation here and there But actually, yeah, if you want to install it, follow this guide here on installing it on Proxmox before you put it on a system, on a bare metal system, because this is still really in beta. And they recently made the announcements. So this is like the ZimaOS open beta version 1.0. This is even like, honestly, I don't want to say these guys don't know what they're doing, but it's like a version 1.0 is not beta anymore. So if you've worked in any kind of like company before, you know that this is like, you usually have like the beta versions, alpha versions, beta versions, which are usually 0 dot whatsoever. Then you have a release candidate, and then you go until the GA, the global release. But it's like, I don't know. So what this means is version 1.0. But for me, it just I see this as an updated beta version, which they even tell it's open beta, but it's like they still have a long way to come. Anyway, so some of the new key features they released were RAID 0, 1, and 5 and JBot, allow changes to account avatars. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, it's version 1.0 of the beta, but yeah, anyway, you don't do it this way, but no matter. It doesn't matter so much anyway. Then you got like the new Files app, the new App Store. Okay, let's take a look. I suppose I can't remember what the old App Store was like, but yeah. Zima client, removed storage merge. All right. Yeah, you always need an avatar, absolutely. Yeah, so the storage merge version was a pretty weird feature they added in version 0. Whatever they had before the version 1.0. And this was a feature where you could actually put like more than one hard drive together, but it was not like a RAID or like a stripe or anything, yeah? You just merged the storage in the way of, hey, these are two different and separate hard drives, with their own file systems, and you just make them somehow that they show up as they were just one drive. But of course, if you lose data on the first drive, they are gone, right? There's no redundancy. And this was a really weird feature. When I first saw this in CastleOS, I thought, well, this is actually not what I was looking for. I mean, I don't know if you know why this is such a big problem that they didn't have RAID, and this still doesn't look like a stable version. I think if you have something like a Zima board that only has like one hard drive, you probably don't care about RAID. But if you got like the Zima Cube, and I think I said this on my in my initial video, so this is a device that comes with a feature for having like 6+1 base of hard drives. So you kind of buy this because you want a RAID, because you want a NAS device, right? And if the software that runs on this device doesn't have a solid RAID functionality, you're never going to buy this there, right? So this is like the whole justification for actually buying a Zima Cube is to having a good and stable system. And I think, whoa, this will be, they are in a pretty tough spot here. Because the strategy for Zima OS, I mean, what they probably will do is they will sell it as a device. Well, hey, you can put any system on that like you want. You can also install TrueNets, of course, like, yeah. So they sell the hardware. But of course, if they want to make their own stuff and they want to put Zima OS as a default OS, people are going to expect some solid features in terms of storage management and all those stuff, because like the real competitors are like the QNAPs, the Synologies in the world, right? So they are in a pretty tough spot, and this market is already pretty saturated, if you ask me. And also with like the recent announcement of Ugreen NAS devices, they kind of go in a similar direction like Ice Whale, because they also back it up of a Kickstarter campaign, very similar to Ice Whale with the Zima boards and Zima cubes. There is some competition out there, so yeah. But anyway, let's take a look at this. So this is the web UI of the Zima OS machine that I've installed on Proxmox, and yeah, this is, I think this is the default overview, so you just need to sign in with your account and that's it. I think it looks pretty nice. I mean, this is all what's coming from Casa OS that has existed before, yeah? So it's not really new. What is new is that you have like this, the Zima client, which is a desktop application that you can use to manage it. But I'm really honestly, I'm not so excited about that. I just prefer a real web UI, honestly. I don't like to install an app to just manage my NAS. It just doesn't feel right for me. So just give me a web UI and I'm fine, yeah. But yeah, what the Zima OS app is doing, it's actually discovering your Zima cube on the network so that you, in theory, you don't have to care about what is the IP address and what is the network and so on. But in reality, of course, if you want to add this to an existing network, you always have to like know what the IP address is, especially if you want to access files and storage on that device. So yeah. Okay, anyway, well, you have this app, you can configure it this way, or you go through the web UI, and this is the overall like look and feel of everything. And what I really don't like, honestly, that's the first thing that really stands out for me, is like this, like the news banners here, like here and there, like Kickstarter news, and I don't need this. But anyway, yeah, might be interesting for some people. Here you have the settings, and this is also like, here you can update it to the latest version. You see, I really disabled all these tips here because they just show up this like, hey, you added a new hard drive. Do you want to add it? Yeah, sure, I want. You also have the newsfeed, so you can turn it off. Yeah, let's turn it off. I don't like this. You can change the web UI port. As you can see, this is another like downside to this. As you can tell, it's actually not secured in any way. It's like a web UI port on port 80, which is what deep frozen CPU, please do. What do you mean by that? You mean here the statistics or this year? Yeah, well, it's not doing anything, right? But yeah, as I can see, there is no HTTPS. I think there is no way to import a certificate for this web UI. I mean, how should you? There's a search bar over here, which I don't really know what that is doing, but let's search for Zima OS. Well, this takes you to DuckDuckGo, because then you can add in here the search engine that you want to use. If you want to use DuckDuckGo, Google, Bing, start page. And you can switch the language from English to, I suppose it's Chinese. I have no idea. Yeah, and yeah, just like this, you can definitely tell. So this is a beta version, just like with the overall, like the options you have. And well, at least we got RAID. So let's take a look at the storage manager. And this is like the Zima Cube. So it actually thinks that it would run on a Zima Cube. I suppose they have only configured this menu for the Zima Cube so that you would run this on the actual device. If you run it on a virtual machine, it will still show you Zima Cube here, and it will still try to match the hard drives to the base. And I think if you install it on the actual hardware, it would be pretty much in line with where you put it. But of course, on a virtual machine, it's a bit different. So yeah, that kind of layout doesn't really make sense. I still think this is pretty nice if you run this Zima OS later on a Zima Cube, because then you know exactly what is the status of each hard drive and where it's located. So I think this is a pretty nice feature. I don't dislike it. I just think like on a VM it doesn't really make much sense. But anyway, yeah. So here you have like the available storage, data system files. Does something happen when you click on it? It's like, it's saying unhealthy. Why is it unhealthy? I have no idea. So you can't really see anything here. But you can here on these drives here. So what I've done is the storage space that I've already configured. And you can see like the SDB, that's the first drive, and the SDC, the second drive. They are healthy. Well, at least those drives are healthy. Yeah, and now we could actually go here and format them. Okay, so let's format. I'm aware of this. Yeah, okay, let's do this. Well, it's like, oh no. Sorry, I didn't walk you through the whole process. I've already done something. You need to disable it. Let's disable both drives. And yet, now it shows you discover the new drives. And when you click on this, you can enable those drives. But what we really want to do is combine hard drives space by rate. It's created. So now you can actually choose what type of RAID you want to create. So with 2 drives, you can only create like RAID 0, RAID 1. RAID 5 is grayed out because like at least number of hard drives are required. As you can see, there's still a mistake. Yeah, so there's the variable for the number of hard drives, which is not shown in here, but it is a minimum of 3 disks, right? Hey, Kristen, happy to see you doing live, following your guide. Fortunately, if a stupid issue with VMs, only get one. Whoa! I'm facing one very stupid issue with virtual machines. I get only 100 megabytes instead of 1 gigabyte. Oh, well, it's pretty sure. I mean, I don't know if you're using Proxmox, but I'm pretty sure you might just go and try to switch your driver of the network card to a different model. Does it says here? So here's the model that you can choose, yeah, and it has this Intel E1000, which is a pretty like an old model of a network card chip that was, I think it was emulated by QEMU or really, don't ask me anything about the architecture, but it's like, so this is like compatible with most of the operating systems as it is a pretty old hardware device that you kind of can use, but it's actually not the most performant one. So you can either switch to VirtIO or to Realtek RTL H139 whatsoever. And I would always strongly recommend checking if it's VirtIO, because this is really the driver that this underlying system is using. And then you also need to install the guest editions, right? So install the drivers for the VirtIO network card in the guest operating system. So if it's Windows, you have to do it at the installation process. Yeah, I don't want to walk you through all of this, but you have to check the network card drivers if they are VirtIO, and if they are, if you already have installed the drivers correctly. So this is most of the time, like I will tell you, like 80-90%, it's this problem, and if it isn't, it's something weird. Okay, so let's maybe, I mean, I would really love to test RAID 5, but should we do that here? Yeah, maybe we can do it. You can also see, like, in RAID 5, there is a thumbs up saying, like, RAID 5 is good. And then the others is not good. Oh, I don't know. It's really, like, I don't like this type of visualization because it has, like, it says it is the impression that RAID 5 is the best and the other ones are not good or something like that, which is technically not true. I mean, it's kind of like if you're aiming for security and speed and you want to get the best of both worlds, yeah, okay. So at this criteria, it's good, but it depends on what you want, right? If you're just about speed, then RAID 0 would be the best, and RAID 5 wouldn't be as good as RAID 0. So that's my thought about it. But anyway, let's for example do a RAID 1, which is good. No, which is not good because it didn't have the thumbs up anyway. But you can use it with 2 drives, of course. Yeah, so I hope everybody understands the difference between RAID 0 and RAID 1. If you don't worry about it. It's actually pretty easy to explain. So you can either put multiple drives together and, like with RAID 0, expand the storage of the drives by like striping them together, and RAID 1, which is like you would actually want to have like redundancy, so you want to have when one drive fails, you want to still have the data on the second drive. So that's what you want to choose. So for maximum security and redundancy in RAID 5, it's actually kind of like it's actually storing the data on 2 drives and calculating a parity on the 3rd drive. So you can basically, even if you lose drive 1 or drive 2, you can use the parity to calculate back what was the data on any of those 2 drives. So consequently, you can lose any of those 3 drives, and you're always going to be fine. So, but because I only have 2 drives, I have to choose either RAID 0, which would then be like the space of 60 gigabytes, and 60 gigabytes would become like 120 gigabyte. With RAID 1, the storage wouldn't change at all, but you have it for, they call it protection and redundancy. Yep, all right, perfect. Let's do this, and let's click next. So now we can say safe storage. Yeah, okay, well, let's go with safe storage. I'm fine. I'm aware this is the initiate creating. Okay, awesome. Yeah, so now we created a RAID, and we now have our safe storage. I mean, this process is pretty simple. I like this, so it's not really that bad. I still think the UI needs a bit polishment and so on, but this functionality seems pretty solid. And verification data protection. So what is that in protection? What is that? I think maybe if it's missing 1 drive, it can tell. Verification and recovery in protection. What does that mean? So, and now you can like format and disable. All right. So we now got our safe storage. Let's see what we can do with it, right? Oh my god, I need to have a break. I'm so tired. I don't know why. I couldn't find much sleep last night for whatever reason. Yeah, maybe it was our child. But yeah. By the way, I would be glad to meet you in Germany. Is planning to go there this year. Wow, cool. Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not against it. Just like, I always have like hard times finding the right time frame and finding a location where to meet, because I usually don't go outside, so it's like it's probably better to jump in the live streams. But yeah, it might mean verification and recovery. Yeah, but for what? I mean, what can you recover? It's like, you mean data protection? I have no idea what that means. You mean like if you want to roll back to like a different version or something like that? I mean, I even don't know what this is using under the hood. Yeah, it's not really clearly said if this is like ZFS, if this is JBOD, or what else do you got? Like, who knows? Yeah, I mean, we can try looking. Can I just log into this? No, it's not working. Yeah, I have no idea how to SSH into this machine, actually. I mean, there is no setting for it, right? You can't do anything here. MDADM? Oh, I haven't really heard about that, to be honest. I mean, it's like, was it a thing? Let's quickly ask AI. What is... software utility for monitoring Linux software RAID arrays. Ah, okay. I think I remember. I've never used this, to be honest. Can create different RAID levels. Ah, okay. All right. Yeah, I think the Wolf is correct. I think it is just MDADM, because it looks like it, right? You have like RAID level 0, 1, RAID 5. What is the difference between... yeah, what a stupid name. Hardware RAID. Main difference is a weight for software RAID, hardware RAID. Okay, yeah. And let's ask the right questions. Okay, it's not accurately to say that universally better than ZFS or vice versa, as they serve different purpose. All right, yeah. Flexibility integration provides advanced features such as end-to-end data integrity checks. is relatively simple and straightforward, making it easier to set up and manage for basic RAID configuration. ZFS, on the other hand, has more complex configuration management process due to its comprehensive feature set. All right, well, that looks like it's like the easy and straightforward way to implement RAID functionality. Default organism. All right. Well, you guys are amazing. Let's try this. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, guys. Who was it? Eddie Pronomo. Thank you, man. This is amazing. Yeah, so I suppose we don't have anything like zpool or zstatus. That would be, yeah. And it even creates an error like root bash history cannot create read-only file system. All right, well, okay, well, this is just for test only. Hey, you guys just tell me the commands and I put them here. Awesome, yeah. So, yeah, that's definitely your confirmation that it's like MD ADM. Is it weird to say that I've never used something like this? I mean, it's like, I don't know. When I read something like, it's a simple and straightforward way, I'm just going directly, okay, please can you tell me what's the better one? It's like if you would tell me, and I've basically done the same with Docker and Docker Swarm. Like when I was searching, okay, so what the hell is Docker Swarm? I was like, okay, so Docker Swarm, tell me what is Kubernetes. So I'm gonna learn Kubernetes. I'm just gonna skip Docker Swarm. And the same I would probably do with MDADM, because it's like, okay, if you tell me that's a basic system, it might be old, and so I'm not a fan of it. Yeah, okay, yeah, I did pretty much the same impression that I got, because it's like, okay, but I suppose they went the. Is it fair to say they went the cheap route? It's probably, but yeah, maybe it is, because I mean, if you're using such a system under the hood, I mean, they could have used something like BDRFS, right? This is like, I mean, we could ask the AI about this. So, is BDRFS better than MDADM, or what's the difference? Let's see what this comes up with. Ultimately, the choice depends on your specific. Yeah, blah, blah, blah. We all know this. Just tell me the truth. If you primarily require RAID functionality and simplicity, MDADM might be better fit. If you need advanced file system features such as snapshots, data deduplication, or improved scalability, BDRFS could be a suitable option. Well, are you actually telling me that MDADM does not have something like snapshots? No, it doesn't have snapshots. Whoa, what is... Okay, well, that surprised me. Why the hell did they go with something like that? That is like a decision that I don't understand, honestly. Because if you're making a product like this, you're already in a pretty hard competitive space, yeah, with systems like QNAP, Synology, TrueNAS, all those systems. And I'm pretty sure all of them have a snapshot feature. I mean, I probably would put my hand in fire for saying something like that. And you come up with something like that is still in open beta, that supports like it only has like a minimalistic implementation of a RAID system that is pretty old and doesn't support like data protection and snapshots. Oh well, I'm not really excited about this to use. Honestly, I don't know. Snapshotting is to be done with LVM, right? I mean, there are probably ways around it, but it just feels like, is it a smart decision to go with a system like that? I mean, probably if they have developers who have the most experience with MDADM, and they are really advanced in this technology, and they know what they are working with. And ZFS, BTRFS, and those solutions, they probably don't know so well. I mean, well, then this decision would make sense. But from a product management, like in terms of like product management view, I don't know if this decision is smart. Because I mean, this is a system. If you choose a system like this, you have to go with it. You have to go all in with it. I'm pretty sure they probably won't change it from MDADM to upgrade to something else, because that would mean everyone who has a Zima cube out there that has created their file system with MDADM, they would probably need, and I'm sure there is no migration to something like ZFS or BDRFS, will have to destroy their storage pools. I mean, this would be bad for upgradability if they want to add more features in the future. So it's like, yeah, which file system do they use? A pretty good question. So let's see. So here is the boot layer, the mount boot section with FAT16. So we have like squash for. Honestly, this is something I haven't really done much myself, so I don't expect me to understand each and everything here. Then they have ext4. So this is like the SDA7, SDA8. So these are like the partitions of the table of the first internal drive. So here's the log. It's kind of like, okay, so it might make sense to have something like this here. So to have multiple partitions. And then they have here the ext4 for the data system in the RAID system as like a file system. Okay, so this is like different from like ZFS, of course, because it's like this. It has its own. And here, it's just, like you said, you guys know much better than me about MDADM, which is like just a RAID, and you still have to choose your file system that you want to use. Well, I mean, would it be fair to say that it would be a better decision to use XFS or something like that? Because I think XFS is also around, right? And maybe that's a stupid question, because I never really worked with XFS. But does XFS also has like redundancy and stuff? Can you combine this somehow with MDADM, or is it just like you have XFS and then you don't need MDADM anymore? It's a question I don't know. I'm not really familiar with file systems, to be honest. But it's like, I know that Unraid uses XFS, and I mean, that would be better. That would give you something like snapshots, if I'm correct, right? Well, honestly, XFS is just a file system. It's not RAID. Yeah, but you could like then combine this, right? So that would be my idea, because like XFS would. I think this gives you like feature like snapshots, right? I mean, that would be the reason why Unraid uses it as their primary file system, as far as I'm correct. Sure, XFS on top of LVM, yeah, something like that. But why didn't they do something like this? Why did they choose this here, this MDADM? I mean, you don't have to answer me the question. Maybe that should be a question to the team of Icewhale. But I cannot really understand this. And I'm honestly a bit surprised. Well, it is beta. Yeah, but that cannot be your excuse for stupid business decision, right? I mean, it is beta. You can argue about, well, it's beta so that the web UI isn't polished and that it doesn't have all the features and so on. But this is a pretty fundamental decision, and I'm pretty sure this won't change in the future. If they would, that would mean that everyone that is using Zima OS right now, which is what are using MDADM, has to rebuild their storage pool, which is something a customer wouldn't like to hear. Okay. So yeah, maybe they changed their minds, but honestly, I don't think it's a smart decision. Those kind of fundamental decisions you have to do before you actually start the beta. That is my honest opinion. But hey, I don't know. I'm not hired as a PM or as a dev, so I'm just a random YouTube guy, so I have no idea. But yeah, honestly, yeah, I still believe like ZFS would be better. I even would say like BTRFS would be a better choice. Because it gives you all the features. You don't need to mess around with like LVM and MDADM and file system stuff. You can probably just use that and have all the nice features of like snapshots, redundancy, and all those things, right? That you get with these other file systems. Where the only decision why they probably not go with something like ZFS, maybe because they want to make it simpler for the end user. But then again, a BDRFS would be a better choice. It's like, I don't know. Well, honestly, I don't want to go crazy on this decision because I don't know what was the reason behind it. But it's like, maybe you need to look at this from this angle here. That this is meant to be like a very simple like end user device. That it's not like the average like techie guy, if that's a target. But I really would wonder, so what type of guy should actually buy the Zima Cube when it's not a techie? So who should actually buy this? Yeah, we will have to wait. So I'm very interested in this. I think like it is a good decision to make this Zima OS for Zima Cube, Zima board. I really like their devices, but I'm not really excited as much on their software side, to be honest. And we haven't looked at this year, right? So this is the App Store, whatever that means. So we will maybe we also take a look at this. Yeah, why not? I bought myself a mini PC, but don't know what to use it for. So honestly, Maildog, so I can't help you with that. I don't know what you should use it for. I mean, I buy most of the stuff for my Homelab, and I have no idea what to use it for. So all the servers and the network stuff, don't ask me what I'm doing with it. I don't know. I mean, it's like, and maybe that is the answer to your question, yeah? So don't think as this is like you have to have a use case or you have to have a real use for this. I think like if you always would ask, so is there a real justification for getting a Homelab? I think there is probably not. There is just like, see this as playing around, do some experiments with it, try out what you want, and destroy it. Yeah, repair it, whatever you want to do with it. I think then you're in a good shape. Don't think too much about like, okay, so I'm building this, I'm building that. It's like experimenting. Enjoy the experimenting phase. So that's what I'm saying. Output would be interesting. Services are exposed by network. Oh, Christoph is already doing like the pen testing investigation on this system. Right? Let's see. I like this. Netstat Tulpen. Somebody asked me, what the hell is Tulpen? And it's like, well, this is what you always type in to get like the most common output that you want to get. It's like so carved in my brain. Active connections only. Listen. Yeah, we are listening. They are listening on quite a lot of stuff, right? It's like SSH port is enabled by default. Port 80 is enabled by default. 0 tier 1 is enabled by default. What the hell is that? Is that really like the Yeah, exactly. Tulpen is easy to remember for Germans. Yeah, you know this. SMBD, Icewhale Drive. So they have their own proprietary protocol for something like that. SMBD. That is the SMB daemon here. One for secured connection and one for unsecured connection. I have no idea what the package manager is. I even don't know if there is an existing one. So they did a good job to hide this complicated mess from the end user. I mean, you can probably type like, what is there is anything in here that you kind of remember, but if you search for like a package manager. I even don't know if they have one. Arch? What is Arch? Is that something? I don't know. Maybe there's Pacman or something like that. No. So I don't remember anything being like a package manager here. But you can definitely tell they have Docker installed. So you can see. And that's probably the underlying system for what you see here in the App Store, right? That you can do spawn up Docker containers. Arch tells you the architecture, like extending. Ah, nice. Yeah. Nice attack surface. Yeah, you can do some investigation. I don't know if they pay you for like pen testing. I don't know if they're part of bug bounty programs, but maybe they should be. I don't know. Well, honestly, I have no tools for like trying out something about investigation. Yeah, so this is like as Linux Zima Cube. Yeah, they're obviously branded as their own stuff, but of course they have something that they're using. Well, you could do like yeah, that's a good idea. But I think you won't see anything else than Zima. Icewell Company, Zima Cube. Yeah. Yeah. They want to make their own stuff, yeah. So they probably will allow you to go to SSH. I even don't know if they allow users to go to SSH. Maybe they even don't want this. And there is a reason for not allowing it. So I'm not against like this decision. But it's like, of course, it makes it less interesting for Homelab people. It will make it maybe more interesting for the average end user that wants to just run containers on a system like that, and they don't really care about so if this is Docker under the hood or if it's like Kubernetes or whatever. Like if you, for example, want to go and deploy something like Home Assistant, you can click install. Let's click install. Start installation. Yeah, okay, great. Home Assistant is gonna be installed. Yeah, fine. It's pretty simple. But honestly, I don't like this for myself, right? As I didn't like it in TrueNAS Scale either. Because like TrueNAS Scale, I thought they made this decision to go with Kubernetes under the hood and making it very simple to deploy apps and stuff. I don't know if this is... Yeah, maybe. I mean, they want to be like the Synologies. They want to be like the NAS systems out there because they also have something like that. Okay, so it's installing, but it's just it's not telling me what is going on here. Home Assistant. Okay. Yeah, well, okay. This is so far so good about that. Okay, so that didn't work well. Let's try something else. Can you do a simple thing like Pi-hole, maybe not Pi-hole. A unified controller, twin gate, uptime Kuma. Uptime Kuma maybe is a simple one, yeah. Let's go and do that. I know it's doing something, so didn't work for Home Assistant, but it now works for Uptime Kuma. Snap drop is great. What is that? What is snap drop? Oh, and that's it? Okay. I'm a bit worried because, I mean, this is a feature that should have come from Zima OS, so a container application. Here you can do all the stuff like web UI, icon. Here you can configure all the container stuff, yeah. Snapdrop is like Apple AirDrop, but open source. Oh, really? Oh, this is cool. That's nice. Did they reverse engineer like the Apple AirDrop protocol then? That's cool. It could be interesting for somebody like me. Yeah, okay. So, well, that didn't work so well. I don't know if that's because I'm running like a weird Proxmox machine or I don't know. We can try out something else, but I'm pretty sure, like, let's do Portainer. Continue in the background. So it's definitely pulling the images. You can... No. That's weird. And here it says undefined. Okay, and that's it. Maybe I've done something wrong, but I wouldn't know what. Okay, so when you click on files, it takes you to a different web UI. That is the file manager. I mean, like, here's our rate system, yeah. You can upload, you can create new stuff. It's fine. Peer drop. Oh, okay. Yeah, well. I'm pretty sure they have some good stuff in here, but as you can see, it is nowhere near like a release right now. It's so much work they probably would need to do. Even though I'm supposing that a lot of this problem comes that it's running in a VM and not running on an actual device that is supported. Where's Snapdrop? Let's do the Snapdrop. But I'm pretty sure it's the same for all of the things, for all of the apps here. So yeah, that's really the reason why I don't want to make an installation tutorial. Is like, so what's the reason for installing this? For testing, yeah, okay, maybe, but if it's gonna be a YouTube video where people are flaming me in the comments, saying something like, "Oh, this system is crap, this doesn't work, blah blah blah," no. Yeah, that's a bit weird. Anyway. Well, I mean, you can tell me, what is your impression about this? Do you think like this is actually usable? Probably not. But I still think like if they fix some of those errors, if maybe if they would have come up with a better file system underneath, it would actually be a nice project. I mean, all the design looks great. Okay, this is coming from OS. They've done it before, but yeah. Well, I'm not against graphical interfaces. Yeah, I often tell the people, like, for me personally, there is a reason to use a graphical interface as well as there is a reason to use a terminal interface. It is depending on what you want. A terminal interface is really, really nice for troubleshooting log files. It's really great for executing commands and instructing. But there are certainly things that a terminal can't really do. And this is visualization, obviously. But it's like having tables, having graphics, and all those things. It's sometimes weird because there are some applications that try to emulate the same kind of functionality within a terminal application that you would get from a graphical interface, something like web browsers in a terminal or file managers in a terminal. And I never really believe this is a real usable thing, as like with those elements you just want to have a mouse and a keyboard. It's just simpler to use a graphical interface in some ways. So there's always a use case for it. So you can't really claim that I'm a terminal only, guys. Definitely not. But I think like there are reasons, or there are use cases where a terminal is just the better tool for the job, and sometimes a graphical interface is the better tool for the job. Like having a dashboard like this, I really prefer like a web UI for this, for monitoring or something like that. But if I would now try to deploy a container, well, I'm not really using something like that. Yeah. So then I would prefer a terminal. But yeah, it's like, maybe this is not for me. Maybe this is really for the end user. Maybe this is like for the guys who want to, who like to use a NAS in a way of like QNAP or Synology, and they want to have something like that, but that is a bit more like experimental stuff. So then it might be right fit, but yeah, who knows? Well, again, you didn't use Norton Commander. It feels I've seen it a few times, but it is like just some of the apps that I never really understood why people are still using it. I mean, my dad still loves this application here, Total Commander. Like, this is like his absolute favorite application, right? And whenever I see this program, I just tell him, oh God, please use something different, but not this crap. Like, if you remember Total Commander, but there is still like a huge like fan base of the old boomers here who like to use Total Commander for whatever reason. I never understood what makes this application so good. But there's really like, my dad just loves it. No. So yeah, hey, by the way, this actually takes me back to this homepage. When I'm seeing this, I mean, I just have to compare it to Ugreen NAS. I mean, this is starting on March 12th on Kickstarter. So I'm really excited to actually get onto this and get it and just want to see how it compares to Zima Cube. And who's got the better OS or the better software then? When this thing gets released and Zima OS gets released, let's compare it. Let's compare it like in a half year again. It's like, honestly, this is a time frame that I would give for this to be actually worth a new review. Because before, I'm not seeing like a valid use case for this right now. But maybe half a year or so, give it maybe 1 year more to really be like stable and solid. Why not? I'm really excited to see what Icewhale will do with future Zima products. What is the final Zima Cube looking like? And if they ever build something for rack servers, like Zima Rack. I've told them before in emails, hey guys, Zima Cube is nice, but honestly, I don't give a shit. Like, for my home lab, I just wanna have Zima Rack. Okay. Then I would be excited, maybe more. Because I think hardware-wise, they make great hardware products, but software, they have a long way to go. There are many things in the UI that don't feel polished, that even don't work. And I know it's open beta, and sure, but how long will it take? Will they be ready for Ugreen NAS? I don't know. If this is even a competitive product, if they see this as their competitor, I don't know. I really would love to hear some answers on this, but yeah, it's like, we will have to see. So when I would buy a Zima Cube, I would definitely put TrueNAS on it. And that probably wouldn't change, right? So, Hey, just joined. Did you see on the news that Deutsche Bahn was looking for an experienced Windows 11 admin? So maybe because of the... Yeah, maybe. Hey, look, maybe they still use Total Commander in the Deutsche Bahn company. So you could be a really good guy. You mean like Windows 3.11? Ah, okay, all right. Yeah, no, I got 3.11, really. I mean, well, this is like the... I'm not really surprised they do. Because sometimes, like, this is the same with... I heard this once about the NASA. So the NASA were trying to get somebody who is really experienced in like assembler or any like a very early version of assembler. And you would ask, so why is such a company like asking for some old stuff like? And they were really they couldn't find somebody to actually who is still experienced with this system. And this is because some of their satellites that they started like 40 years ago has arrived somewhere at a position and had a problem. So they needed to find somebody who already got knowledge in this very, very, very old system that nobody learns anymore. But they still needed it to repair or update some firmware to that satellite, like so many million kilometers away. And that was really an interesting story. You sometimes see this in professional IT as well. So especially when they have something like systems in hospitals or like in those very, very slow changing industries where, or like CNC machines, like if they are like creating like metal or something like that. I was once back in the days where I was working as an IT service technician. I went to a company. They built like they manufactured part for Airbus for like planes and also like the NASA. So they in Germany. This was, by the way, this was like nearby a Bauernhof, so it's like where animals live, and so it's really like it's like really off the far away from any city and any civilization, right? And it was a very small company, and they had like 20 employees or something like that. But they had some very special machines, some of these CNC machines, and they built that, and they had Airbus as a customer, and they manufactured some very, very specific parts for them, which was crazy if you think about it. And they still were running something like a Windows Server 2000 or something downstairs, where they had all these construction files. These are top secret files, right? But they stored it on this old server, and they were asking us, hey, if we want to migrate this to like a Windows Server 2012 or what it was back then. And I needed to migrate this Active Directory from the Windows Server 2000, so the Active Directory domain controller, and migrate it because the old server was almost dying. Like it had like 3 power supplies, and only 1 power supply was functional. And even on eBay, you couldn't find a replacement for it because it was so old. And it was like, I always thought like, oh my God, what the hell is going on? If they lose these construction files, right? I mean, that would be the worst for this company. This company would be dead, right? And those top secret construction files need to be stored in a secure way. So, and guess what the administrator password was, right? So, when I went to this on site, and I've seen this, I think this is the first time where I realized, oh my gosh, so IT is such a crazy job. On the one hand, you always think like this is so much complicated technology stuff. On the other hand, like people are doing some stupid things right in their garage. It's like crazy. But sometimes you still need knowledge about these old systems to actually work with them, because there is such an old thing that might be outdated for years and years, but this is still such an important part of the business. So this is really like, these are the situations where you would see something like that. So I wouldn't be totally surprised if you tell me that Deutsche Bahn has somewhere a Windows 3.11 machine and it is super, super important. I wouldn't be surprised at all. So this is like the story. Maybe I need to expand on this in a future live stream, but yeah. This is IT is a crazy industry. Anyway, I mean, I hope it was fun. Definitely for me, it was fun to see like Zima OS, and honestly, what is my final verdict about this? Honestly, at this stage in a beta version, I would never use it, especially when I would want to store data on this. I mean, it's like a NAS. A NAS stores data, primarily important data. So we need to wait maybe half a year, maybe 1 more year to actually see what ZimaOS will look like then. And before that, I'm not doing a video about it. Definitely not. I mean, I probably will make a new video when they come up with a new product or when the Zima Cube gets the final release. I would love to take a look at this, but my recommendation would then be go and install TrueNAS on it. So yeah, that's as far as I can tell right now. But anyway, hey guys, so thank you so much for watching. As I said in the beginning of the live stream, so next week I'm on vacation, but I will be back the week after. And I think, yeah, we need to do one more important thing I can show you, because, and that's what we probably want to do next time, because we have like, we have so many cases here on help and support, like people in our Discord community who are like creating help cases. I think we need to go through them and explore some of the problems our community has, and maybe do some sort of a live session of IT support and go through some of the cases. What do you think about that? Would be nice. So that's what I'm planning for next in 2 weeks. Okay, next week I'm on vacation. In 2 weeks. Okay, guys. So yeah. Oh, by the way, you have to join the Discord, and if you have free time, look at those cases or look at those help threads. Maybe you can help some of these guys. And if not, we'll do it in 2 weeks and go through some of the old stuff, and maybe we can close some of the old stuff. So just like it would be a normal day in tech support, something like that. Would be fun. Okay, guys. So thanks again. I will go off now. Schönen Urlaub. Danke. Danke. Mach's gut. Bis zum nächsten Mal. And yeah, I see you around next time. I think tomorrow I will upload a new video, so hope you enjoy it. And then in 2 weeks, the next live stream. Okay, guys, so thanks for watching. I'm out. Take care. Bye-bye.